Las Vegas, Nevada, International Hotel, August 14th, 1970, Friday night, 10:45 p.m. The showroom is packed, 2,000 people watching Elvis Presley perform. The sound of his voice carries through the walls. Backstage is mostly empty. The crew is on break during the show. They will return when Elvis finishes. 15 minutes from now, Bruce Lee is in the backstage hallway. Long, narrow corridor, white walls, fluorescent lights, dressing room doors on both sides. Elvis's dressing room is at the end. Bruce just left there. He has been visiting Elvis for 3 weeks. Private sessions after shows, teaching martial arts basics, not fighting, just movement, flexibility, breathing techniques. Elvis asked for it, said it helps him feel more controlled on stage, more confident, less anxious. Bruce walks down the hallway toward the exit. He will leave before the show ends. Does not want to be in the way when the crowd disperses. Just a quiet visit. Help a friend, leave. But someone is blocking the hallway exit. A large man, older, heavy, wearing an expensive suit, white hair, cigar in his mouth. Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager. Bruce has met Parker twice before. Brief introductions. Parker was polite, but cold. Tonight Parker is not polite. He is standing in the middle of the narrow hallway, arms crossed, staring at Bruce. Bruce stops walking, says, "Excuse me, Colonel." Parker does not move. Says, "We need to talk, Mr. Lee." Bruce says, "About what?" Parker takes the cigar out of his mouth. Says, "About you and Elvis. About what you are teaching him. About why you are here." Bruce says calmly, "Elvis asked me to help him with movement training. That is all I am doing." Parker says, "That is not all you are doing. You are teaching him to think. Teaching him Eastern philosophy. Teaching him to question." Bruce says, "I am teaching him breathing exercises." Parker steps closer. His voice drops, becomes harder. "You are teaching him to trust himself. That is dangerous. Elvis does not need to trust himself. Elvis needs to trust me. I have guided his career for 15 years. I made him what he is, and I will not let some kung fu instructor undo that." Bruce's expression does not change. He says, "I am not trying to undo anything. Elvis is my friend. I am helping him because he asked." Parker says, "Elvis does not know what he needs. I know what he needs. And what he needs is for you to leave tonight and never come back." Bruce says, "That is Elvis's decision to make, not yours." Parker's face reddens. He says, "Everything about Elvis is my decision. Every performance, every contract, every friendship, I decide, not him, not you, me." Bruce says, "That is not how friendship works." Parker says, "This is not friendship. This is business, and you are bad for business." Subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and comment. More true Bruce Lee stories are coming. Parker reaches into his jacket. Bruce tenses, recognizes the movement. Parker pulls out a small revolver, snub nose, looks like a .38, hammerless, pocket gun. He points it at Bruce's chest, says, "You will leave Las Vegas tonight. You will stop contacting Elvis. You will stop teaching him anything. Or I will make sure you never teach anyone anything again." The hallway is silent, except for the muffled sound of Elvis singing through the walls. Bruce does not move, does not step back, does not raise his hands, just stands, looking at Parker, looking at the gun, calculating. The hallway is 6 feet wide. Bruce is 10 feet from Parker. The gun is pointed center mass. From this distance, even an amateur cannot miss. Parker's hand is steady, not shaking. This is not his first time holding a gun. Bruce says quietly, "You are pointing a gun at me because you are afraid." Parker says, "I am not afraid of you." Bruce says, "Not afraid of me. Afraid of losing control of Elvis. Afraid that if he learns to trust himself, he will not need you anymore." That fear is making you do something very stupid. Parker says, "It is not stupid. It is necessary. You do not understand what is at stake. Elvis is my livelihood, my entire life. Without Elvis, I have nothing. I will protect that, with whatever means necessary." Bruce says, "You will protect it by threatening to shoot someone in a hotel hallway, by committing murder. That will protect your career." Parker's jaw clenches. He says, "Nobody will know. I have connections in this city. Police, judges, mob. If something happens to you, it will be an accident, a robbery, wrong place, wrong time. You are nobody here. You are just a martial arts teacher. Elvis's friend, maybe, but that does not protect you." Bruce says, "You are wrong about that, but more importantly, you are wrong about Elvis." Parker says, "I know Elvis better than anyone." Bruce says, "You know how to control Elvis. That is not the same as knowing him. He is unhappy, Colonel. You must see that. The pills, the weight gain, the exhaustion. He is performing like you want, but he is dying inside, and you are so focused on maintaining control that you cannot see it." Parker's hand tightens on the gun. He says, "You have been here 3 weeks, and you think you understand Elvis better than I do. I have been with him since he was nobody. I made him a star. Everything he has because of me." Bruce says, "And everything you have because of him. But you are terrified he will realize that." Parker's face is red now. Anger, but also something else. Fear, because Bruce is right. Parker says, "You will leave tonight," Bruce says. "And if I do not," Parker says, "then I will make sure Elvis never sees you again, one way or another." Bruce is watching Parker's trigger finger, watching his breathing, watching his eyes. Parker is desperate, but he is not irrational. He does not want to shoot. He wants compliance. He wants Bruce to be afraid, to back down, to leave. The gun is a tool of intimidation, not action. But intimidation only works if the target is afraid. And Bruce is not afraid. Bruce says, "I have a question for you, Colonel. Why are you really afraid of me teaching Elvis?" Parker says, "I told you why." Bruce says, "No, you told me you are afraid of losing control. But there is something else, something you are not saying." Parker is quiet for a moment. Then he says, "You are teaching him to question everything, to think for himself, to trust his instincts. If he starts doing that, he might start asking questions about me, about my background, about where I came from, about my papers." Bruce's eyes narrow. He says, "Your papers." Parker realizes he said too much. His face shows it. Bruce says, "You are not American, are you, Colonel? You are here illegally. That is why you are so paranoid. That is why you control everything. Because if anyone investigates you, if anyone looks too closely, they will discover you are not who you say you are." Parker's hand is shaking now. "Not much, but enough." He says, "You do not know what you are talking about." Bruce says, "I know desperation when I see it. You are not pointing that gun at me because I am teaching Elvis martial arts. You are pointing it at me because you think I will expose your secret. But I do not care about your secret, Colonel. I care about Elvis, and right now you are the biggest threat to him." Subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and comment. More true Bruce Lee stories are coming. Parker says, "I am protecting him." Bruce says, "You are protecting yourself, and you are using Elvis to do it. If you shoot me, if I disappear, Elvis will know. He will ask questions, and eventually someone will answer them, and when they do, your secret comes out, and you lose everything anyway. So the gun does not help you. It just makes everything worse." Parker is processing this. The gun is still pointed at Bruce, but Parker's conviction is wavering. Bruce continues, "But there is another option. You put the gun away. you let me leave. I promise I will never speak about your background, never investigate, never expose you, and I will continue helping Elvis. Not to undermine you, but to keep him healthy, to keep him performing, because if Elvis collapses, if he quits, you lose everything too. Parker says, "How do I know you will keep your word?" Bruce says, "Because I am not your enemy. Colonel, I do not want to destroy you. I do not want to take Elvis from you. I just want to help my friend survive what you are putting him through. And if helping him means keeping your secret, I will keep it. Not for you. For him." Parker is quiet. The gun lowers slightly, not much, but enough. He says, "If you ever tell anyone about this conversation," Bruce says, "I will not, but you need to understand something. Elvis is going to figure it out eventually. Maybe not your immigration status, but he will figure out that you need him more than he needs you. And when that happens, no gun will save your relationship with him. The only thing that will save it is if you start treating him like a human being instead of property." Parker's hand lowers completely. The gun points at the floor. He says, "You do not understand the pressures I am under, the debts, the commitments, the people I owe." Bruce says, "Then talk to Elvis about it. He might surprise you, but if you keep controlling him with fear, you will lose him. Not to me, just to himself." Parker puts the gun back in his jacket. Says, "This conversation never happened." Bruce says, "Agreed." Parker says, "You can continue teaching Elvis, but you will not speak to him about me, about my business, about anything except martial arts." Bruce says, "I was never planning to." Parker says, "And if he asks you about tonight," Bruce says, "I will tell him we talked, that we understand each other now, that there is no problem." Parker nods, turns, walks down the hallway toward the exit. His footsteps echo. Bruce stands there for a moment, processing. That was 8 minutes. 8 minutes with a gun pointed at his chest. 8 minutes of psychological warfare. 8 minutes that could have ended in violence but ended in understanding. The sound of applause erupts from the showroom. Elvis' show is ending. Backstage crew will return in moments. Bruce walks back toward Elvis's dressing room, waits outside. 5 minutes later, Elvis comes through the backstage entrance. Sweating, exhausted, exhilarated. He sees Bruce, smiles. "Bruce, you stayed. How was the show?" Bruce says, "You were great, as always." Elvis says, "You okay? You look tense." Bruce says, "I am fine. Just had an interesting conversation with Colonel Parker." Elvis's smile fades. "About what?" Bruce says, "About how much he cares about you, how protective he is. He wanted to make sure I was here for the right reasons." Elvis relaxes. "Yeah, he does that. He is paranoid sometimes, but he means well." Bruce says, "I know. We understand each other now." Elvis says, "Good, because I do not want to choose between you and him. You are my friend. He is my manager. I need both." Bruce says, "You will not have to choose. I promise." They talk for a few more minutes. Bruce leaves, drives back to Los Angeles that night, continues teaching Elvis for the next 2 years, until Elvis's schedule becomes too demanding, until the pills and the weight and the exhaustion take over, until Elvis's world collapses in ways Bruce cannot prevent. Colonel Tom Parker never threatens Bruce again, never speaks about that night, but whenever they see each other at events, at shows, there is a silent understanding, a mutual secret. Bruce keeps his promise, never speaks about Parker's immigration status, never investigates, never exposes, even after Parker's death in 1997, even after the truth comes out in biographies. Bruce's students never hear this story from him, because Bruce understood something that night. The real threat was not the gun. The real threat was what exposing Parker would do to Elvis. The scandal, the investigation, the destruction of Elvis's career, at a time when Elvis was already barely holding on, So Bruce kept the secret, kept the peace, sacrificed his own safety to protect his friend from the consequences of his manager's desperation. 8 minutes, one hallway, one desperate manager with a gun, one martial artist who understood that sometimes the greatest strength is not defeating your opponent. It is protecting someone else by choosing not to fight at all. The gun never fired, the secret stayed buried, and Elvis Presley never knew how close his world came to exploding that night in Las Vegas. Subscribe, enable notifications, like the video, and comment below which Bruce Lee moment surprised you most.